Join us over the next few weeks as we follow the route of the stunning Northumberland 250. Day 7, and it was another very windy night, wasn't it?
It was.
We're going to have, yeah, you said it, yeah, I know, yeah. We're going to have toasted stotties for breakfast, and I'm going to show you where we're parked. Block your ears out there though, because it's a bit windy and wet. We're parked by the River Tweed.
Yep. It's broken its bank overnight.
Keen to take you down there later and show you, because the dogs will want another wee. Another nice park up though. I'm just taking it. Back to the bin. They know where they're going. So there's a walk down there where I've been taking the dogs. There's a road just there. That's a road bridge over the river, but it's very quiet overnight. And it was just us here last night. That's where we're parked. Surrounded by puddles. Now, they were there last night, but they've grown overnight. There's the road bridge. And there's the river, flowing very fast. My house over there's got a lovely view, haven't they? I'm worrying a bit. The river has, as Keith says, broken its banks. And there we are. If you look at the van at our amble, you can see she got a few splutterings of leaves overnight as well stuck to her. Breakfast, that'll do. Keith's is cremated again.
Perfect. Just let it cool down a tad.
Because he has to have the butter on when it's gone cold.
Yes.
He's a funny one, that one. Just about to set off from this park up. Next stop, Berwick-upon-Tweed. And Storm Babette continues. What a grey day. Driving into Berwick now.
Arriving at Berwick-upon-Tweed.
Berwick, dear. Berwick. It's a walled town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another border town, obviously. Pulled up in the car park, and it's a disc parking car park. This is something we found out about before we came.
Mm-hmm.
Costs £1, but you get free parking in various car parks around the county.
Not everyone.
Not everyone, no, but a lot
We
of
found
them.
a few that wasn't valid,
But you pay £1 for that, and it gives you 3 hours parking in most car parks where it's accepted, doesn't it?
it does. So you just set the time, your arrival, and stick it in the window.
Quite substantial walls. As I say, it's a border town, so defences against the Scots. painted Salford smoky tops on cardboard boxes from the shops. Parts of Ancoats where he used to play. But more about that later. The Berwick fortifications. Elizabethan ramparts were built between 1558 and 1570, replacing the medieval wall on the north and east sides of the town. And this was where the cattle market was, which opened in 1886. So these are the defences built around Berwick between 1558 and 1570 to protect Queen Elizabeth I's Protestant England from the Catholic Scots or their allies, the French.
Been walled for over 250 years before. I can't read it.
Before these new defences were started, the old walls enclosed a much bigger town, including all the area behind us, as far as today's railway station.
Right.
The new walls cut the town in two, with this gate the only way between. We've seen a fair few of these around different towns, haven't we?
Yeah.
The really old, ornate Victorian wells.
I suppose it was the first way of getting fresh water to the population, wasn't
I suppose
it?
it was, yeah.
Before the pipes had been installed.
Yes.
These are the original, the gates.
So Berwick's, Berwick was long battled over, and it's passed between the Scots and the English on many occasions, hasn't it?
It has, and it was only the Act of Union that brought it under permanent English control.
Looking past the pub, the Brewers Arms, and look at this window. And a little bit of history on the side of this pub. The earliest references to Berwick date back to the 11th century, when Berwick's position at the lowest crossing point of the River Tweed was both an asset and a liability. Periods of prosperity alternated with periods of destruction during endless cross-border wars, as we were just saying. In 1296, war broke out between the two kingdoms and lasted nearly 2 centuries. And in this period, the town changed hands no fewer than 10 times. After it fell for the last time to the English in 1482, it was still not regarded as a true English town, but as a foreign outpost. The town became legally English in 1836, so quite recent, really.
That's the Act of Union.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
It was after that, wasn't it?
The Brewers Arms, where we are now, was known as the Heavy Battery when it was a garrison town, and locals still call the pub by this name. That's a decorative window. I actually drove into the town yesterday before we went to the park up when we needed fuel, and we saw that, and we both said that we didn't know it had been a shire, Berwickshire. Charity shop. I actually thought there's someone stood in the doorway here. It's just a Halloween costume that is blowing when the door opens. That one will work coming in too, won't it?
There's a first edition motorcycles observer book for £1. Well, they don't know the prices of observer books.
No.
Yeah.
There are quite a lot of steps up to that
They are.
clock tower. So very much a town with all the usual shops in, and oh, I thought he'd missed one then.
Oh, we're going to that one.
All the usual type high street shops. Got Boots, New Look, Trespass, Smiths, all the ones you see in most towns, plus all the usual coffee chains. But we won't be going into a coffee chain shop. We'll find a proper coffee shop, a local independent one. The wind's a lot colder today. And it's that really wet rain that you get. Apparently, from what I've read, there's still a lot of cobbled streets around. It's nice, isn't it, when they don't just tarmac everything over like this?
Yeah.
It's more of a bistro and bar than a coffee shop.
And the way it just drops off the road.
Yeah, it's quite steep, isn't it? Gosh, that is very steep.
It is.
This heads down towards the river.
From one of the old bridges by the look of it.
There's the new road bridge, and I believe this is the old, well, it is the old road bridge. This is the A1. It's now only one way. He painted kids on the corner of the street that were sparking clogs. And he painted matchstalk men and matchstalk. And he painted matchstalk men and matchstalk cats and dogs. What is this I'm going on about? Well, growing up from a very early age, I liked some pictures, and they were all of a similar style. I didn't know till years later that they're by the artist L.S. Lowry, and I hadn't realised until I was reading about Berwick that Lowry used to come to Berwick every year from about 1935 to until his death in the 70s. And he painted a lot of pictures around Berwick. And there's a Lowry trail. There's one of his pictures. And you can see the matchstalk. If you don't know Lowry, these are the matchstalk images that he used to paint. So L.S. Lowry was one of Britain's best loved painters, and he was especially fond of Berwick-upon-Tweed. He visited the town many times from the mid-30s until the summer before he died, which was actually in 1976. He'd stay at the Castle Hotel, but he thought about buying a house on the Elizabethan walls. The Berwick-Lowry Trail identifies the sites of many of his finest paintings and drawings of the town, and allows you to follow in his footsteps. We're not doing that today because we've got a lot to get in. This is Bridge End. Over here we've got Bridge End, and Lowry painted this in 1938, and if you look at that building there, that's this building here, and it's called Berwick-upon-Tweed. Skillfully placed patches of pure red paint, which was Lowry's favourite colour. They draw you into this composition, and many of the women wear scarlet bonnets. Lowry possessed a keen eye for the incongruous. He cannot have failed to be amused by the inscription of the premises of William Cow and Sons, home of the original Berwick cockles. Berwick cockles are mild peppermint flavoured sweets first sold in 1801 and still made on the premises. The River Tweed again, wider than where we parked up last night. See down there the old walkways under the bridge. Looking on the old bridge, middle one is a new road bridge, and over in the distance is the railway bridge. Keith's just noticed what looks like a sundial over on the other side of the bridge. What is it?
It is a sundial.
Is it?
Been restored, but it was a sundial.
Strange place.
Yeah.
Berwick cockles still being made on the premises, but I'm not sure. Oh, this is the wholesale department of them. But looking a little run down now, isn't it?
It is.
But they're the old tins of Berwick cockles, and if we can find some, we'll buy some. I think they've been in there a while. They're rusty.
Yes.
This is a restaurant now, but this is the original Berwick cockle shop. No doubt where you could buy your cockles. To glance right, I thought, wow, this looks nice, and it's actually again on the Lowry Trail. And there's, hold on, let me give you a wipe. I've got my hanky. Wait a minute. There's the picture of this. He painted this in 1954 and he called it Old Street in Berwick-upon-Tweed. Lowry painted this as well.
Did he? It looks very Lowryish, that building, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? The youth hostel in here.
Is it? Oh yeah.
Get the bins out of shot, eh?
Hmm?
I'll get the bins out of the shot of the video. That must have been cobbler's type thing there, the old Shoe Lane sign.
Yeah.
It's biting that wind today.
It is.
The other thing that we've found on this tour is that wherever we've gone, we've seen signs like this. This is in a bookshop. You don't really expect dogs to be welcomed in a bookshop. It's really nice to see. More cobbled ginnels and another Lowry. Jewers Lane. Shame the scaffolding's there at the moment, but you look at the curve of this building that is captured perfectly. And there is that building. It's a pencil drawing that he drew in 1936. Jewers Lane is an alleyway of medieval origin. Over the centuries, heavy cartwheels have cut deep grooves in the sets. The building on the right, with its drunken leaning wall, is an 18th century granary, rebuilt after a fire around 1815. And with its many windows, it resembles the mills in Lowry's more familiar industrial scenes from Manchester. Lowry sketched the lane twice, and in this version, you can see now, there's an inquisitive child who's wandering in alone and he's looking up at the intimidating building. There's a heck of a curve on that. And if you were wondering why I was saying those words before about he painted matchstalk men and matched cats and dogs, and about cardboard boxes from the shops, it's because Lowry had a song written about him, and it was called Matchstick Men and Matchstick Cats and Dogs, and it was written, sung by a couple of blokes called Brian and Michael in the 70s. Very popular song back then. This is Bridge Street. For hundreds of years, Bridge Street was the main route into Berwick for travellers from the south. At Bridge End, they'd find shelter and arms at the Maison Dieu, a monastic settlement, and security behind the English gate, which, like the other entrances of the town, was locked after the 8 o'clock curfew. There's that building we've just seen again. Historic Bridge Street was the important centre of commerce. That's more of a view of it. In Good's Berwick Directory of 1806, over 40 businesses are listed here. More than a third of them were related to the town's imports and exports, with Cooper's as the largest single trade. Other occupations are also represented, including a baker, a glazier, a stationer, and one Mrs. Addison, dealer in garden stuffs. Just a flying visit to Berwick. We're a little bit behind schedule now, so we need to cram a lot in. We're failing in the search for a coffee shop that's not independent at the moment. I'll go over here. Keith's found another charity shop, so I'll go over here. Don't actually know what this building is. but it was restored between 1857 and 1858. But it's a lot older than that. Down the other side of it now. These are the Berwick stocks. The original, oh, it's Town Hall this. The original stocks that sometimes sited on the south side of the Town Hall were removed into the Town Hall for safety in 1952, and this replica re-sited. In Berwick, the first record of the stocks in use was 1604. They were used up until as late as 1857. The last official record is from 1849, when a woman was imprisoned in the item for 4 hours for the non-payment of a court fine for drunkenness. The Berwick stocks could accommodate 3 persons seated on a bench with their feet through the holes, imprisoned by clasps, bars and padlock. And then this looks down here to be information on the building, which now looks like it's a coffee shop, which might be handy.
Yes.
If it's open. So this is the town hall, built in 1750, between 1750 and 1761. Took a while to build then. Regarded as one of the finest examples of Georgian architecture in the north of England. We're in need of a coffee. And a wee. We finally got a coffee, and Keith's just shown me that in one of the shops he bought me a book for my collection.
The Ladybird book, People at Work. This one's The Fisherman. It's a bit scribbled on. You're 150. And it's got an inscription inside to Paul Hunter for good attendance at St Paul's Children's Church, Northumberland, Christmas 1970. Oh, 2 and 6. It's a lovely coffee here. We're at the townhouse, which is under the town hall that we've just shown you. Just noticed over there outside there's another information board about the Lowry Trail. Keith's taking a photograph for his soch. That was a nice coffee shop, nice coffee as well, friendly people in there. So if you're in Berwick, go to the coffee shop under the town hall. Another sign here, part of the Lowry Trail again. Old Berwick, Strother's Yard, Berwick Old Town, 1958, oil on plywood. The looming central spire of the town hall dominates the painting, which is divided into 2 halves. The town hall clock resembles an all-seeing eye. The buildings and the paving stones seem to rush headlong towards the archway. The people too are drawn towards it in some mysterious way. And I was just saying to Keith, there's something, I don't know, it's just me probably, in it, something soothing. We were sat in there looking at the paving stones, all wet and glistening with the lights from the shops, and it's just nice somehow, nicer than concrete pavements.
Yes.
Talking about looking up, we've just seen Crawford's Alley here, which is nothing special, but then when you look up there at the old Crawford's Alley sign, so weather worn. Again, looking up. Nice wide streets again, aren't they?
They are.
A few empty shops, like you see everywhere. Flappy, but
So you bought some cockles,
and
you got a foreign note.
a foreign note. You can tell we're on the borders. I've got a Scottish note.
First one we've seen this trip.
It is. Yeah.
To the van now.
Got the old archways. Walking under the wall now. And that's Berwick done and dusted. And now for something completely different.